Hello, everyone. We are back here on the Windows Container series, and we're going to talk about Windows process isolation for the local development environment. What do you want to know about that, Fernando? Welcome.
Oh, hi, George. So currently I'm using Windows Hyper-V containers, and I'm expanding 700 megabytes per container in average, and I have only 8 gig RAM. I'm struggling to develop my computer, and I have heard that process isolation could help me with that.
That's great. That's exactly. Let's see that. Let me share my screen here quickly. As you can see there, I have like Visual Studio 2019. That's the latest preview version. I'm just going to go without code, okay? I'm not going to create a project because I want to show like a configuration, Fernando, that we can have here. Going tools, options. One of the first thing that you make sure that you go on the Docker, go on the container tools, Docker Compose, and you disable that pull images when project open.
Hey, to be good, if you save the time because each image is
Big. And what happened is when you open the project, if you create a new project on Windows, normally the template's using like an old image, and you don't want to download that image, you understand? We want to update this Docker file and bring like the latest version. Then if you don't disable this, Visual Studio is going to start downloading the image. It's going to take a long time because the Windows container image are, gigabytes of storage. Then first thing, disable that, okay? Then now let's go here and say, let's create a new project.
cool. So if you save the time to download the container, save your internet, if you are in a metered internet, this is a good solution.
Yep.
To avoid. So, okay, and what's the type of project framework?
Let's create a full .NET Framework C# project. Okay, and that's normally where the legacy .NET applications are. MVC application, Web APIs application, ESP.NET, Web Forms. Let's create one of those because people moving to Windows containers, they want to migrate legacy applications or full .NET Framework applications. Then let's create one project. Let's call Win Containers Compose because we're going to use Docker Compose.
Oh.
Put a number here. Let's create one of these projects. We look like a normal MVC with Web API. I'm going to remove HTTPS. I'm not going to enable Docker because I want to show how you can enable Docker, after the project is created. Like for existing project, if you have a project already created, you're not going to be creating, that I want to show how you can do after that. Then there you go. We have the project now open. And you see that quickly the project is open. It's not downloading like a gigabyte image. That's a good thing. That's why I recommend to disable those properties before you create the project. And you can see here there is no Docker file, there is no Docker Compose. Let's now, if I run that, it'll be just like running on IIS. But I want to enable Docker. How can I do that? I right-click here on the project, and I can add a container orchestrator. We can, if you want to use Docker Compose, you can add as a container orchestrator. When you do that, Visual Studio is going to create a Docker file and is also going to create the Docker Compose. The nice thing of Docker Compose is that you can start up multiple containers at the same time, okay? And you can see that once I do that, they, and even like that, they started pulling the image before we update But the nice thing is, let's just update. I have here the image that I want to use. Okay. I'm going to update here. Once we update, they're going to start the process again. If I save that, you can see that Docker Compose is going to run again. Now I'm getting the latest version and it's building again just because I changed the name and I save.
So it's easy.
It's easy. The difference is I have that image downloaded before, Fernando. And if I go here on my terminal, Windows terminal, the new one, and do a Docker image command, just a normal Docker image, I have the 2019 downloaded. If you download that take a little bit, takes some time doing like this command.
And depends on your internet speed.
Depend of your, I recommend you do that before you create the project, download the image, and make sure that you quickly go and update here because Visual Studio is going to stopping, downloading the old one and downloading the new one. And there you go. You have now, you can just do Docker Compose, but let's go on the file. Docker Compose here on top. You can see on the Solution Explorer, you have a YAML file. One thing I want to show, Fernando, if I run that here, we're using version 3.4 here. You can update for 3.8 if you want. Okay. There are, and you can see that they're going to run just because I update the file, they run again. What the Visual Studio is doing, they building this image here. If I go here back and go my Docker image, you see that's the project I created, Windows Containers Compose 9. And like about a minute ago, they created a dev image. That's 5 gigabytes. It's a big image, but it's quickly done by this command here when you just update anything here. Then there are two things I want to add here. One is called isolation, and you can say process. Once you do that, when you run your process, you're not going to run as Hyper-V because isolation, the default isolation is called Hyper-V, that you don't have to put anything because that's the default setting. But if you go and say process, then now you're saving 500 megabytes just to run that application. And so it's going to build again. And Fernando, I'm going to show the difference. Let's run that.
Hasn't shown the Docker panel.
Yeah, and you can see that you have Docker run here, okay? I forgot to say that, but you need to be, Docker desktop has to be running as Windows containers, not like Linux. You have to switch to Windows containers before. And if you go in settings here, you can close here, you can see the containers that are running. You can see Docker Compose is creating the container. And the container now is running. If you click here and you go on the stats, you can see the memory growing because the container is running here on the background. It's starting the debug process on my Visual Studio. It's going to open the browser very soon. And you can see the memory start growing. But because I'm using process isolation, memory is not going to, I think 250 megabytes. See, the browser is coming. Memory is still growing. IIS start booting. Debug, running debug mode, okay? Then maybe get a little bit more memory because I need more things running on the container. Like the debugger is running there. And let's wait to see how much memory we need to run. There you go.
2 to 5.
2 to 5. If I starting probably way around here. Yeah, 2 to 5.
It has stabilized.
That sounds good. That's the latest version, by the way, Fernando. That's if I do a Docker PS here, you can see that container is running. Okay, that's container using the latest 2009 2009 version that was just released.
Yes, this 2009 means the same thing as the 20H1 because this is the new.
That's pretty much
No.
what like a
Yeah.
Linux containers takes from memory, like to
Yeah.
run some process. But let's stop that now.
Oh, good. So just
Sounds
remember
good.
2 to 5.
2 to 5. But if I remove that process isolation here and go back for Hyper-V containers and I run, okay, in real life, runtime probably takes less memory because there is no debugger. But what I'm doing now, I'm going to, Visual Studio is going to delete that container. It's going to create another one with Hyper-V isolation. You can see probably take a little bit longer because Hyper-V takes a little bit longer to be created. Yep, it's already running now. Let's go for memory. Same thing. See,
It has started with more. It was 2 to 5 now.
2 to 5 before. Now, oh, it's growing fast. Why the difference? Because Hyper-V container is a full Windows kernel running just for this container. There you go. The browser is coming, still growing. It's like a lightweight VM. Okay, it's not a full VM, but still like a lightweight VM. And to run like ASP.NET, IIS, the whole thing with the debugger, you need 700 megabytes. Means that we're saving almost 500 megabytes, 480 or 519 megabytes saved.
So it's using like 3 times more.
Just going here and setting isolation process, we're going to save almost 500. Makes lots of difference when you have multiple services here, okay? Because we could have multiple projects, with APIs or other projects that we could use in Docker Compose here to, start in multiple containers. And if we spend 200 per container, it'll be easier to run like 5, 6 microservices at the same time with a machine where I have only 8 gigabytes of memory. See, I don't have much memory left.
Everything.
I have to run Visual Studio. I'm running Teams here at the same time. And you can see that Hyper-V containers use that VM here, like lightweight VM. And it says 753, 762, very close here. And that's how it works, Fernando. What do you think? It's a good idea to use process isolation, I think.
Absolutely. To develop, I only use now process isolation, but I have a question. Can I use process isolation in production? Is it safe? I know it's efficient, but
it is if you go in your image here, like I have, let's say here that I want to just debug. I do like a release. Okay, I want to run my container as a release, not in debug. Probably be faster. The difference is when you do that, you go here on my Docker, you can see that Visual Studio is building now like a full final, version for not like a dev. Because when you do like a dev, we are mounting, your application inside the container. And when I do like a release, we're doing like a build for production, like a Docker image for production. And you can see that there will be like a latest version coming here. Okay, now you have a Docker image that you can deploy in production. If I go here on my Docker desktop and I say run, and you can, let's say wing container, and if I run here, I'm going to be running as Hyper-V containers because that's the default, okay, for Windows 10. But I can go on command line and I can see Docker run. I can do Docker run in background, remove that after. And let's just do a Docker image first. Docker image, just to show that I have the latest version here. And now I can go and I can do the Docker run in background, and I want to run this container. I don't have to pull latest.
But you are going to run on the Hyper-V isolation, right? You need to use a flag.
Yeah, I can put a pot. I have to put the flag that will be isolation equal process here. I can put a page just to get a port number for this container. Let's see if it works like that. Works. That's going to work. If I do a Docker PS, I can see the container running here. You can see that latest. Okay. If I go here on my Docker desktop, you can see that's the one because I haven't put a name. That just gave me like this funny name. And look this, Fernando, how much memory I'm using here.
50 megabytes. Oh, yes. We have to use process isolation to have like efficient servers.
Yeah, that's the runtime. 200 will be for debugging, but to runs like 50 megabytes. Let's just open the browser to see.
Try, I think.
Let's see if it works. And then you can see the memory. The memory is going to grow now because application is booting. Let's see if it works. You see, it's saving 30 megabytes because it's like the debugger. Means that, it's going down now. That's funny thing. What happened here? They went to 190 megabytes because, IS was booting. And then now they went, 134 megabytes to run the application. And if I start jumping around here, yeah, I need 100 megabytes to run time. And
it's like in 19 megabytes less than in the debugger. So
yeah, but if I go here back now and I run from here, like I was trying before, test one, so just a name here of, test Hyper-V, isolation, and just put a port 83 here, and I run that. I'm doing the same thing I did in command line, but now I'm using the standard Hyper-V. Yeah, there's a new, that one, I think that's new one, port 83. Look this. Look the difference.
And here,
but still not like 700 because and then let's go on port 83. Let's go on port 83. Takes a few seconds, okay? IIS takes a few seconds to start. That's why it's important, to, like when you do Kubernetes, you're having probes, health checks, all these things. But anyway, Fernando, still less than 500. It's not like 700 in debug, 540 running runtime, without debugging anything. And let's go, that's 540, and the other one, 160.
And so it's much better use process isolation. You save tons of memory.
Yeah, 150 to process isolation in runtime, and 540 to Hyper-V containers. Then Hyper-V give you an extra layer of security, but for local development, we don't really need that. And there you go. That's how you do. I think that can help someone. And thank you, Fernando. And let's bring more options and let's go deeper on Windows containers. Help the developers. Thank you.
Thanks, George. And subscribe our channel and activate the notifications. We'll have more videos about Windows containers soon.
Please, subscribe and promote for your friends. We appreciate your support. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.